Welcome to another week, another conversation as we look at what's been happening in this country of ours. And we've got a couple of things that have shaken us up a bit, some things we did not expect we would see, at least most of us did not expect that they would see, though some of us had actually predicted what was going to happen. As always, we are shooting from Rore. We always want to invite you. When you're in Nyeri, please make a point of passing by Rore Central Hotel, where we try and take care of your culinary needs, we take care of your conference facilities. When you need a place to hang out, please come and hang out with us. But let me go into today's conversation. I think the hottest story right now that's been going on for over the last 1 week is Raila going to the AU. There was this picture of Raila, Ruto, and Museveni, somewhere in a farm. Beautiful cows, by the way. And that picture sent shockwaves across the country. And for a lot of people, there was that feeling of, na siasa usiwahi weka kwa lungs. Usiweke kwa roho, weka kwa lungs. Just breathe in, breathe out, keep moving. And if there is somebody who has personified the ability to just keep going, no matter what life throws at him politically, it's Raila Odinga. He has a way of just spinning himself around. He's lost 5 times, we are still talking about him. In fact, the country somehow is galvanizing itself to take him to the African Union. Like we are actually thinking, this is a good man, take him, despite the fact that we refused to make him president. And so how does Raila do this? One of the things he has always done is that, as I saw in some media house, that he doesn't keep grudges. Raila is a very pragmatic politician. He'll come after you with everything he's got. When you beat him, he'll figure out a way to work with you. And we've spoken about this. I was one of the first people to say that for sure Raila and Ruto are going to work together. Why? Because if you're president, you really don't want Raila running around just making your life difficult. Last 4 presidents, Moi, Kibaki, Uhuru, last 3 presidents have learned that it is easier to just have Raila in your camp. I'm not going to finish that statement, but it's easier to have him in your camp than outside. Moi did it, Kibaki did it, Uhuru did it, and now Ruto is figuring out how not to have him within the camp, but at least have him somewhere outside busy doing something. Now, some people are trying to evaluate this and analyze it and figure out what does it mean. Of course, there's a first feeling, the immediate reaction from everybody is like, Ruto has taken over, by moving Raila out of town, that Raila support base is automatically Ruto's. To some extent, that might be true. But I don't think that is what's going to happen in 2027. In 2027, the minute Raila leaves, and you can already see that feeling. All the people who were supporting Raila moving, not all of them meant it for good. In fact, within Azimio, you could see there was like a competition of people endorsing Raila to go to the AU. Some of those people want Raila to go to the AU so that they can get space to then now take over the structure that Raila has built. So the first thing that is going to happen immediately, Raila goes to the AU, or immediately it becomes obvious that he really wants to go, there will be a concerted effort by the leadership, the secondary leadership under him in Azimio, to start fighting and cutting out their own space. Martha Karua has already started doing it. Kioni, they're running their Kamwene agenda. You have Kalonzo, who's already saying, look, boss, the way we are seeing you, you're already working by partisan, so you have to work with government. So we don't expect you to be able to correct government when they go wrong. That's actually what he said. That's what Kalonzo told Raila to his face. So please leave that job to us. This is Kalonzo cutting out the niche. And you can see the Kamba politicians already starting to lay claim to Azimio. I suspect that the minute Raila is out of the scene, we're going to have Azimio fall apart into small bits. And they were going to go at each other very hard. I don't know whether they're going to go after each other in opposition or with government or a bit of both. But the feeling that Raila is going to leave a monolith of politics or a political structure is a bit of an overreach. We are who we are. Politicians are who they are. They've been people who've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for Raila to exit the political scene so that they can take over from him. This AU journey is a godsend for them. And they're going to push him out, up and out so that they can be left with that space. So expect a vicious, very vicious fight within the Azimio team as they struggle, as they all compete on who is going to fit into Raila's shoes. And unfortunately, where I sit, nobody in that team is ready to fit in Raila's shoes. It's going to take them a while. And taking them a while means you're going to be able to do what Raila has done over the last 20 years to create the kind of structure that he's created, right? So what the key benefit here for government and for President Ruto is that he no longer has a structured opposition that can be put on the street to do maandamano one day, pull back out the next day. What he will have is like 4 or 5 people all competing with each other on who is the best opposition leader so that you can take over Raila's space. And he will not have a structured opposition, but he'll have many oppositionists all trying to make their name. That's how I see it from where I sit. Of course, there have been others who've been saying, and they've been sending warning shots to the Mount Kenya region that, oh, now that Raila has left, you guys are no longer relevant. This is my point. Very simple point. For as long as Mount Kenya is one monolithic political bloc, they'll always be relevant. With Raila in the picture, without Raila in the picture, nobody who is a smart politician, and President Ruto is an extremely smart politician, is going to watch 3 million, 3.5 million or 4 million votes walk away because of a slight. Nobody's going to antagonize a voting bloc like that. So to a large extent, I understand the very aggressive efforts led by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to ensure that Mount Kenya stays intact. Because as much as we might not agree, all of us, but in the last election, 2022, Mount Kenya voted very, very strongly for this government. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua keeps speaking about it, and sometimes it irritates people. But what is he saying? He's saying, look, people, we have proven a point that when we come together, we stay in government. When we are divided, we're out of government. And he always gives examples. 1992, when we had Muranga and a group of people going on one side, then we had Nyeri and another group of people going in another side. Moi went into government, Mount Kenya stayed outside. 1997, didn't learn from our mistakes, did the same thing, stayed outside. 2002, we had land. And from 2002, 2007, 2013, 2017, and 2022, Mount Kenya has been in government, right? So what Rigi is saying, if our region stays intact, this is not even about him anymore. If our region stays intact, then we are going to be in government. What does being in government means? It doesn't just mean Rigathi being deputy president. It means us having a sizable number of cabinet secretaries, having a sizable number of permanent secretaries, having a sizable number of secretaries in government, good portion of people in public service, good portion of people chairing or directors of parastatus. It means having our issues, whether it's small businesses or PSV issues, having trade, having our products, milk, coffee, tea, as mainstream conversations and affecting policies of government. That's what being in government means. What does being out of government means? What we used to be told by Moi, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya, no good roads, not being felt, not being heard. So as we think about Rigathi's message of unity, and we put it in the context of Raila leaving the scene, there's that feeling that if Raila leaves the scene, there will be a bunch of people who have not been Ruto supporters who are going to start supporting him, and he might not need Mount Kenya. That will only apply if Mount Kenya first misbehaves, second, breaks into pieces. If Mount Kenya stays as one piece, first, they will always be able to sit with Ruto. Because one of the things you've learned about Ruto, even just watching how he's managed Raila, Ruto is very good at negotiating. He'll sit with you and you'll come to an agreement. Now, imagine you're 3 or 4 or 5 leaders from Mount Kenya. Who will he sit with? He'll give up. He said, he'll go to people who have jipangat. And I say that because just this weekend, Citizen had 2 stories online. One, Weta, talking about Luhya unity. Immediately below him was Rigathi talking about Mount Kenya unity. So this conversation is going on everywhere. Ours as Mount Kenya region is to make the best out of it. We're already ahead of the pack. Mount Kenya already organized itself. Mount Kenya is not promising votes to Ruto. It already gave him Ruto. The Western Bloc can only promise, because the last time they didn't give him. So we're already at the front pole position. Stay united, and we have in a very, very good place to negotiate. And stay united around one particular personality. Right now, the personality we have is Rigathi Gachagua. Sit with him. You don't like something he does, tell him. Akiri Mudo Anyuba, see, he'll listen to you. He will clean up, he will polish it up, he will go the direction we want him to go, because he represents our interests. So I don't think there's anything for Mount Kenya to fear about Raila, whatever direction this thing goes. But I'd also like the fact that it seems like the official position for the region is that we're watching and waiting to see how this pans out. You don't want to run ahead. Raila might not even make it to the AU, and you already went out there and committed yourself and said, oh, A, B, C, D. So this is work in progress. I like what Roko said, a member of parliament from Bere. Musalia needs to step out and go and do what he can and see whether Raila can actually get this position. Meanwhile, Mount Kenya region, stay as a block. Let Rigathi Gachagua play this game. Organize yourself behind him. We will be okay. However this AU thing goes, we will be fine for as long as we are one block. We play around, doesn't matter whether Raila goes to AU or not, we'll become irrelevant. For us to win, we need to stay together. For us to lose, we just need to be divided. That's my message for today. All the best in the week ahead. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Karibu Turare again when you're in Nyeri. Asante sana.